Live from the pitch pad in New York City. Get ready to unleash your inner entrepreneur with Pitch Live with Amy Summers. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just dipping your toes into the Shark Tank, this is the place to be to discover how to turn your pitch into reality. Fasten your seatbelts, pitch stars, because the spotlight is on you and we are about to make success happen. On this episode of Pitch Live, Kennedy and I go to a few networking events.
Some guy was trying to give my phone number to him. That's just not appropriate. Where there's late night things and alcohol, like there's always going to be somebody who's not acting how they should act. It can be like very off-putting and weird and make you feel uncomfortable. You're there to network, you're there for a reason, so you just gotta stick it out and be there for what you came to do.
Get ready for Pitch Live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Pitch Live. I'm your host, Amy Summers, founder and president of Pitch Publicity and Inisi Vox. I'm also a hardworking entrepreneur who is passionate about helping you reach success at any area of your life. And I know this is possible after decades of experience in perfecting the pitch and enhancing communication skills, which is why I'm here today and joined by Kennedy Reed, a former and forever pitch star who started her internship with Pitch Publicity in January of 2022. And then she stayed on with us all the way through her graduation at the University of Florida, which was in April of 2023. Welcome, Kennedy.
Hi, Amy. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Now, Kennedy, she went through our pre-professional program and even joined me at a major business trip, a couple of them. She's done quite a few. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. But Kennedy is truly a storyteller at heart. She's building her career by shaping brand voices across the beauty, health, print, and promotional products industry, helping companies make real, lasting connections with their audiences. She's currently a social media specialist at Performa, a $650 million leader in print and promotional products, where she continues to blend creativity with strategy. Born and raised in Tampa, Florida, Kennedy is also a double gator. She holds a bachelor's in public relations and a master's in mass communications from the University of Florida. So, Kennedy, I can't wait to talk about all your MSH, make it happen style since you've been at Pitch. But before we get into that, I'm going to throw you a little curveball. So we're doing something in season 3 that's a little different. It's called Behind the Bio series. And I would like you to share with our audience something that people should really know about you that's not on your bio and not easy to find on social media.
Okay. Something people should know about me that's not easy to find. I would say it comes down to like my personality. I feel like we figured out when I was working for you that while we might have like opposite personalities, we still work very well together and I can still MSH even if I might be more chill and like laid back. So yeah.
And by opposite personalities, what Kennedy is really saying is like, I'm super intense, right?
Yeah.
And she's so chill and cool and laid back. But actually that works the best for me because if I work with somebody who's super intense, it usually doesn't go very well.
Yeah. Opposites attract.
And Kennedy and I made a great team. So let's talk a little bit about your internship at Pitch Publicity first. I want to know what initially drew you to apply to Pitch Publicity to intern?
So I saw the listing for Pitch on the journalism school website, and I was initially drawn to it because it had that exciting, glamorous energy that you often associate with the PR world, especially being based in New York City. You always hear about the fast-paced life of a publicist in movies, and I was really curious to see what it was really like behind the scenes.
Okay. And then you came on into work for us, and I had you, I don't know, did I have you pitching on the first day? Do you remember?
I think so, yeah.
Do you remember who you pitched on the first day?
I wanna say Doctor Budoff because I
Oh.
remember the pitch was, like, so crazy. It was like the garlic in the nose TikTok trend. So that one stuck out.
Yeah, stuck right out of the nose, garlic up the
Yep,
nose. I remember, yeah, on
literally.
TikTok, they were putting, like, garlic up their noses to, like, relieve, like, sinus pressure or something, like, a cold it was a cold remedy, but we had this client that had this dietary supplement that was aged garlic extract, and we had a very brilliant doctor and, PhD, Dr. Budoff, a medical doctor as well, and he was giving, like, you know, telling everybody why putting garlic up your nose is not really safe and how you can just take a
There's better
supplement
ways to do
instead.
it.
Yeah, there's better ways to do it. Yeah, that was a pretty gross TikTok trend. I
Yeah,
remember
that was
snot
crazy.
coming out of people's noses when they were, like,
Yes.
pushing garlic up.
Yeah, it was insane.
Alright, so, that was an interesting one to start with for sure. That got your feet wet. Can you
Yeah.
I mean, just looking back, though, on your whole time with us, is there one particular campaign or even expert that you worked with or client that left a lasting impression on you and why?
Yeah, so Dr. Red Cross definitely left a big impression on me. I worked on a few different pitches for him, and I actually had the chance to meet him in person a couple times, and he was always so kind and genuine, which made him memorable. That personal connection also made it easier to speak confidently about his expertise when I was pitching, and it just felt authentic because I believed in what he had to say.
And then do you remember, I mean, Dr. Red Cross, I mean, he's definitely a fan favorite for sure.
Mhm.
Do you remember one of your proudest MSH moments or accomplishments at pitch?
Yeah, I was just reflecting back on pitch, and I remember when, um, it was towards the end of my internship, and I tallied up all the media placements that I'd secured, and it came out to be 149, which I remember being genuinely shocked because at the start of pitch, I never would have imagined that I could achieve that, and so it was really rewarding to see all my hard work quantified.
149 media placements. Just
Yeah,
shy of 150, but
I know. I was like, "Dang."
well, I'm curious because we didn't really talk about this, but when you started the interview process after, you were launched out of the pitch pad, did that help much in your, interview process, or did that impress anybody?
Yeah, I think, like, really having, like, a quantifiable number to, like, measure the success and, like, what you did at a previous role is really important. So yeah, people love to see, like, proven things that we've done.
So out of all those placements, do you remember one in particular that you pitched and that you scored, and can you tell us about that and how you got it?
Yeah, so one that stands out was booking that in-person interview for Sandra Lee in Central Park. I think, like, during the time, we were only really doing virtual interviews, and since she was in New Jersey, and I think it Pix 11 was what we booked
Yes.
her for, so it was a very easy trip for her to just go over to Central Park, so coordinating something in person felt really special, and, seeing the actual, like, live interview, knowing that I played a part in that was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool because that was, when you say during that time, we had come out of COVID, but people were really
Yeah.
not doing, or by people, TV stations were not doing very many in studio interviews at that time still. And we had this client, Sandra Lee, and she was CEO of a company called New Jersey Labs. And we were doing a campaign on ticks and testing for ticks because they're a testing company, and hence the Central Park. So that was a really good one because it's not easy to get a media in New York, and Kennedy scored that, and we
Mm-mm.
were able to set that up in the park, and yeah, that was really special to get that in-person one. Now, speaking of New York,
Mhm.
you came up here quite a bit during your internship. I remember you I brought you in for a summer immersion experience, so you came up here for, a certain amount of time during the summer. You lived up here. And then you were remote, so we didn't have a physical office that we went into, but you definitely shadowed me around. We did some activities. What do you remember about that summer New York experience and what really stood out to you?
It was so much fun. I loved that era of my life. It truly felt like I was just living the New York dream, getting to explore while also getting to do some exciting in-person stuff with you, and you're right, we did do a lot of activities, I got to meet a lot of people, and, just being there in person was a nice change of scenery from being remote, even though it was remote while I was still up there, like, getting the in-person stuff was nice. I think that was the first time I met you in person, so it was nice to finally, like, talk to somebody who you talk to every day virtually, and, getting to meet some of the clients that I'd been pitching in person was also really cool. So yeah, it was just overall really, really fun.
Yeah, that was our first time meeting, and in my book, Lift, I talk a lot about the importance of, if you do have a remote or hybrid team, the importance of doing in-person stuff and coming in person, but I would just love your perspective on meeting Amy in person versus virtually. What was the biggest difference to you, and did that help you in the internship ultimately, like, meeting me?
Yeah, I think meeting anyone in person just really helps kind of, like, put, like, a body and a face to, like, the person you've been chatting with, like, every single day, and I didn't really, like, have any expectations. I knew you were gonna be, like I mean, I already liked you a lot, like, thought you were a great boss, but then just running around New York City with you was so much fun, and I was like, "Wow, like, look at Amy's lifestyle. She's living the life in New York City right now." And just everything we were doing was so, like, cool and nothing I'd ever experienced before.
So, it just kinda deepened our bond a little bit more beyond Zoom
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 and
meetings,
Slack.
Zoom and Slack. Um, then later that year, I brought you back because we had our annual pitch, party where we celebrate our clients and give our appreciation to media, and we had this, like, progressive era theme, to honor Ivy Lee, the father of modern public relations. What do you remember about that event? And because I was really pushing you all to do some networking. What did you learn, through that experience?
That trip was so much fun. I definitely remember the palm reader. But no, in all seriousness, I think what stood out the most about that event was seeing all the planning and details and hard work that we all did come together. The theme was really a good theme, and, having the people from the Public Relations Museum there was so cool, and doing the tour of, like, getting to see their space in person, and just overall the energy at the event was amazing, and to know that we kind of played a part in making such a big event like that happen was cool. Networking-wise, I think, like, before that, networking seemed a little intimidating to me, and I went into it kind of thinking that it needs to be formal all the time, but I learned that, it doesn't need to be intimidating. It's really just about making genuine connections with people and being interested in people's life and stories. So that was a great experience.
When you network now, like, give us what your some of your go-to like, if you're talking to somebody you've never met before, you come up to them, like, is there something you start with?
I mean, people love to talk about themselves, so literally just asking them, like, questions about I like with my work, there's a lot of, like, business owners, and so just asking them about their business, like, really helps you get a sense of, like, what they're passionate about and what they like to do. Um, so yeah, just asking them about, what they like and yeah.
And go from there. Just let them do the talking.
Yeah. Fill in where needed, but, asking questions is always great.
And then at that party, we did have a palm reader, you mentioned that. Do you remember? I'm
Yes.
just curious. I mean, this wasn't in my original questions. Do you remember what she told you?
I remember it was um like, something about a relationship, like, finance, and then, like, family, and I don't remember exactly what she said, but I remember she told me I was gonna have 3 kids,
Oh.
and yeah, and, something about, like, I wasn't with the right person, like, even though it seemed comfortable at the time, and then, I think it was, like, I needed to, like, invest in, like, a property or something. And, like,
That's interesting.
I remember thinking, like, "Okay, like, this is kinda crazy," but at that time, I was also, like, transitioning to moving out of my apartment, so I was like, "Okay, like, maybe I need to, like, get an apartment," or moving from home into an apartment. So that part, I was like, "Oh, maybe."
Now, wait a minute. So I know you haven't had the 3 kids yet.
No,
All right, we'll have to do a follow-up later. Maybe we're too soon to follow
absolutely
up on that
not.
one. Were you with somebody at the time that was, like, the wrong
Like,
person?
no, not really, I mean, I wasn't dating anyone, so I don't know what that was about.
Okay. So it was a bust. I actually didn't sit
Yeah.
down with her, but when we were packing everything up and trying to get out of there, I told her, I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry I didn't get to sit down with you." And she goes, "That's okay, but I have to tell you something." So what she told me was, "You need to do more yoga." I was like,
Oh,
"Okay." That was it.
we're not bringing her back. I remember the other person who, would, like, write something on a piece of paper and then do that little dance. I don't know what you call that person.
Oh, yeah, we had, like, some, like, because it was progressive era, we were trying to,
Yeah,
like, bring back all the people of that time that were, like, street performers and such. I think she was writing, like, poems or something, was that it? And she did a dance
something.
with it?
Yeah.
Did she do a dance for you?
She did. I remember just being like, "Oh my gosh." She was so into it. It was hard not to laugh.
And then you, I mean, nobody has gotten to do this, so far except you, but I took you to another really big, conference. Flew you all the way to Los Angeles to a conference called Expo West, which is the largest natural products conference in the country. Um, Tell me what you remember about that business trip and what did you learn? Because I mean, you did do a lot of travel with us as a college
Yeah.
student. Like, did you learn anything about business travel that you're using today?
Um, yeah, I mean, I did do quite a bit of traveling. Just I think travel-wise, the biggest takeaway is just show up to the airport and ready to go because you never know like what's gonna happen right after you land in the airport of where you're trying to go. Like I remember Mark Allen picked us up and was like, "Okay, we're going to a nice dinner." And I was like, "Oh, okay, like I need to like change into something nice," but there was no time.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, we had one of our radio hosts pick us up from the airport. Of course, I'm always dressed to the nines at the
You
airport
are.
because you never know what's gonna happen, which is what I told Kennedy, and then she was, like, being whisked right off to a fancy dinner in her sweats.
Yeah, I'm such a comfy airport girl, so, you never know.
Anything
Um,
else that stood out to you on that trip that you remember?
yeah, that trip was honestly so amazing, and I feel like it was the first time I experienced the go, go, go pace of a professional event. We were running from interviews to meetings, we were walking the trade show, going to networking events, like, it was literally nonstop, and it definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone initially when you told me that we're going across the country to one of the biggest trade shows in the industry, but then at the end, it also showed me that I could keep up and thrive in that kind of environment. I think I go to a lot of trade shows now and, like, a lot of events for work now, so that experience definitely prepped me for what it was gonna be like in the real world, and it was exhausting in the best way because it just prepared me, and it was a cool opportunity.
That's great. Yeah, I think, when we ran into each other in Tampa, you were telling me about I don't think it's at the job that you're at now, but that you had just been asked to go to a conference or something, and you're like, "I'm ready."
Yeah, in New York, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Mhm. Yeah, but since then, I've been to many, many, and yeah, they're all different, but the same in the sense that, like, the same kinda things goes on, so once you have that first one down, I feel like you can really tackle anything.
What are your tips for people that are going to conferences, trying to network, maybe trying to get business, trying to promote their company or product? I mean, they're like you said, we were doing like 12-hour days at least.
Mhm.
What are your tips for people on kinda surviving the conference, the trade show?
Um, Wear comfy shoes because there's a lot of walking. If you like caffeine, make sure you're caffeinated because you never know who you're gonna run into and what meeting you're gonna have, and you just kinda always have to be on. Um, so if caffeine can help you with that, by all means. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is just, like, always be on, like, you never know who's watching you or who's around and who you're talking to, so you just gotta be professional in any setting.
And speaking of that, we did some late night networking when I took you to that conference in California. And I mean, we had like a little awkward situation. It was kind of weird. I mean, we were out there, ironically, we were out there promoting Anisi Vox's Elephant in the Room series on sexism. And then we had been doing interviews all day with some of our panelists that were going to be on to kind of pre promote it. And then Kennedy and I go to a few networking events afterwards. And do you remember what happened when we were out that night?
Yeah, so we were just minding our business, first of all, and some
Just
older
networking.
yeah, just living it up in California, and some guy was trying to pawn this younger guy off on me and, like, was trying to give my phone number to him, and I was like, "No, I'm not interested. 1, this isn't the time or place, and 2, like, that's just not appropriate." So, yeah, it was definitely an uncomfortable situation.
That was definitely weird. Like, I think I was like in shock. I didn't even know how to help you except I was like, we have to get out of here.
I know, gotta go.
We gotta go. That was super weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, it can be really off-putting, I think, to someone that's never been to a conference before. I mean, thank goodness you were with me and I had your back and we got out of there. Um, but I don't know if you run into that type of thing now, but definitely trade shows and conferences, especially evening events, networking, free alcohol, things are flowing, people get sometimes crazy. Are you experiencing that in any of your work now at trade shows and conferences?
It doesn't happen too often, but, like, to your point where there's late night things and alcohol, like, there's always gonna be somebody who's not acting how they should act, and I feel like, some people you can just avoid, like, entirely if, like, they're known for that or, you recognize them. Mostly, I just talk to, like, my coworkers and try to stay around, like, girls and stuff to just kind of avoid all that in general, but I think if that, does happen to me, just staying, cool and calm and collected and not letting it shake you, because it can be, like, very off-putting and weird and make you feel uncomfortable, but I think, like, you're there to network, you're there for a reason, so you just gotta stick it out and be there for what you came to do.
And move on if it gets a little awkward or weird or
Yeah.
inappropriate.
Mhm. Leave
I
the
like how you
situation.
say surround yourself with people that you know or have a buddy and not try to go at it alone because it can feel like a lot more pressure if you're just one-on-one with somebody and then the conversation kind of turns.
Yeah. Yeah, and have, like, a easy exit plan if you need to, like I don't know, if you're there for work, say you gotta, like, go take a call or you gotta go find this person, just, like, have that exit plan if you need it.
Yeah, I like that. Have a few lines in your head in advance. So if something weird happens, you're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I have to run to the ladies' room." That's always mine.
Mhm.
My escape because I know they can't follow me there,
Yeah.
unless it's a woman. But it's usually
True.
not a woman, pressuring me. Or yeah, I like how you say, "Oh, I've got to take a call," or "I've got to." Or a good one, it could be like even, "I've got to meet my boss right now." That might add a little bit of like, okay, quit messing with me as I move on.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So tell me, just as we kind of wrap up your time at Pitch, uh, what was, the thing that you think really helped you prepare the most for the next steps in your career? Now that you are in your career, like, looking back, what do you think prepared you the most? Because some people might be watching this that are currently interns for me, and I'm sure they'd love to know, like, what did you do during your internship at Pitch that prepared you the most for what you're doing now?
Honestly, I would say the pre-professional program really did help. Um, because we did practices like updating the LinkedIn profile, and I was refining my portfolio, and I was learning how to kind of position my experience to help me stand out when it came to apply for jobs. One of the things that as I was, like, looking back through stuff preparing for this, I made a job wish list at one point, and that exercise was super impactful because it really forced me to think about what I wanted from a company and a role, because I remember towards the end of the internship, I really didn't know what I wanted to do after graduation, and going through that kind of helped me find something that would fit.
So tell us a little bit about that. How did you navigate your job search? I know you went through the pre-professional program with me. So what Kennedy's talking about, like I actually helped her think about, who she might want to send a resume to, and we actively, proactively approach many companies. Um, but now you've been at a couple companies, so you've done the job hunt a few times, even on your own. What's the most effective? What tips do you have for people?
I would say, well, first of all, like, just know who your network is and reach out to people that, you're a friend of a friend or, like, the pitch universe. There's so many people in that, so, like, if you're involved in pitch, like, really honestly take advantage of that because you never know, like, what might line up for you. Another thing I found that being selective is key. I didn't just like mass apply everywhere. I kind of took the time to research each company and make sure it was something that I would be happy in. I did start early because the pre-professional program, like that was just an exercise we were doing. So I wasn't really in a rush at that point. But it made me take time and thought into each application and tailored my resume and cover letters, which not only made my application stronger, but it made the process way less stressful.
I like that, and I like how you mentioned, if you have interned at Pitch or you are interning at Pitch, we have our own network, but I would say that would be true at other places. So if you intern at another place, while you're interning there, get to know, first of all, the other interns, but also the people that work there. But you never know, because I know some agencies, they hire a bunch of people in for an internship program, and not everybody gets hired out of that. But just network with those interns because you don't know where they're gonna land. And maybe they land somewhere and they could be like a help for you to get in on another company.
Mhm. Yeah, you never know.
Now, okay, so tell us about I wanna hear about your first job from Pitch. Was it a big leap, or did it feel like, "Okay, this is natural, I got this?" Like, how did it feel starting out?
It honestly felt like a natural next step. I feel that I had prepared so much through the internship that stepping into a full-time role didn't feel overwhelming. If anything, I think, like, one of the biggest adjustments was going from working remotely at Pitch and then doing online grad school to being in office 5 days a week and commuting a bit further than I was used to. But overall, I felt, like, really confident in it because of the foundation that I got at Pitch.
So you were in office then in your first professional job after Pitch. Um, it's different, isn't it?
It is, and having to, like, dress up, like, every single day and, like, put on some makeup.
And I think just even being on, right? Like, it
Yeah.
just feels like you have to game face on when you're in an office. Was that tiring for you at first?
It was definitely an adjustment, and I, like, came home some days, like, feeling drained, because it just is a big change.
So how did you adjust to that? Because it's funny because I have some students that intern with us. And they so desperately wanna be in office, and so maybe they might leave us to go do an in-office internship, or after they're done with pitch, they can't wait to go work in an office, and then I'll hear back from them, like, several months later, and they'll say, "Amy, I don't like working in office. So
Mhm.
how did you kind of get over that hump? What did you do to like get into the groove of like going into an office every day? What helped you kind of get over that?
I think, like, the biggest thing that made the difference was, like, actually making relationships with the people I worked with because it made coming to work, like, better. It wasn't just, like, a job, it was, like, you came to work and you got to see people and interact with people that you actually like. And then beyond that, I would say just, like, taking small breaks throughout the day if you need it. Like, you don't have to be working 8 hours nonstop. Like, you can, go outside, take a walk, like, drink some water. Like, it doesn't have to be like you're working the whole time you're there.
Yeah, I could see where that could be an adjustment because you're only used to working remotely and from your own home. You take a break whenever you want, and you're not really worried about who sees you taking a break because no one needs to know necessarily. But
Mhm.
in an office, it could feel like you have a lot of eyes on you.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you just like if you went to take a walk break, did you communicate that you were doing that or did you just leave the office?
I mean, I worked at a very small company as my first job, so it wasn't, like, a big deal. And so, yeah, I mean, sometimes I would announce, but even if it was just, like, taking a bathroom break, as silly as it is, like, getting up from your desk and, like, going to a different location, like, really helps kind of break up your day.
So tell us about your job now. I'm very curious. Are you using any of the pitching skills? What are you doing?
So I currently do social media for Proforma, and we're a print and promotional products company. And what's unique about Proforma is that it's a franchise model. So I work at the corporate level, and we have over 500 distributorships. So beyond managing our main social channels, I also create content for our distributor owners to use for their pages, which keeps me very busy. It's a remote job, but there's a fair amount of travel involved. So I think it's like a good balance between like remote and in person. Um, and, I haven't been working here a year, but I think I love the people that work at the job. So going back to what I was saying earlier, like working with people that you actually enjoy makes showing up for work very, very nice. And I don't pitch anymore, but I feel like I still use the skills that I learned in the internship
Okay,
every single day. Um, Pitching taught me how to communicate confidently, think strategically, and connect with other people. It also taught me the importance of creative storytelling. Back in the internship, I was telling a story through a pitch or a press release, but now I tell a story through social content. And, whether I'm working with our distributor owners, with vendors, or representing our brand at events, I'm still using the same storytelling and relationship building skills that I first developed at Pitch,
that's great. And gave you quite a bit of confidence, I'm sure, in doing all of those things.
for sure.
Now, we were kind of set up for as an internship, but also a mentorship, and that was really important to me as a leader and leading all of you from a mentorship approach. Um, are you getting good mentorship now where you're at?
Yeah, I think, mentorship is still so important, and I'm lucky that I work at a company where everyone's genuinely supportive. In the industry and business model as complex as ours, people are always kind of willing to help each other out and show newer team members the ropes. So I'm constantly learning from the people around me, which is great.
Are you mentoring anyone at your company yet?
Not yet per se, but, there has been some newer people that came onto the team, and we had some summer interns, so I just try to be as helpful as I can when there's new people that are on the team because, um, I think it can get a little overwhelming, like, coming into all this, so I just try to be the person that I appreciated when I first started out.
That's great. How do you like for someone that might not be at the level at their company where they're actually a manager or in charge of a group or something like that? what would be your advice on how to, like, kinda keep an eye out for the newbies, if you will, or the interns? Like, what are you looking for, and then how do you approach them? Because they may not come to you for help, but maybe you can see that they're struggling a bit. Like, what are you looking for, and then how do you approach them so that you can be a good mentor?
I think just always, like, making everyone in the room with you, like, comfortable. I think, it's easy to kinda tell if somebody's uncomfortable if they're, to their self or, like, they don't know what to do and maybe they're just confused. They're quiet. So I think just being, like, a friendly person and saying, like, "Hey, like, can I help you with something?" Or, like, "Do you need help with anything?" Or just asking them about, like, what they're doing and, like, see, like, how you can, like, fit yourself in there and, like, how you can help them without them having to, like, ask for it or without you asking.
I think that's so important. You bring up a really good point because I have noticed more and more that people actually don't ask for help. They try to figure it out on their own. They'll do everything before asking you. Like they'll go on TikTok, YouTube, like they try to figure it all out. They'll go to Chat GPT or, they don't want to ask questions. So I have also gotten in the habit of just asking, how is it going? Can I help you with anything? Like being proactive with just asking. Cause I find that people, they don't naturally do that anymore. Do you find that too?
No. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm a victim to that sometimes too, like, being independent and just kinda wanting to, like, tackle something on your own, but it doesn't have to be like that. Like, if you're surrounded by the right people, then, everyone's willing to help you out if you just ask or you're willing.
And I think too, just for some encouragement, if you do ask someone more senior than you or even on the same team for some help, I mean, you're actually giving them a gift. You're giving them a gift of purpose and they'll remember that. And I think that it goes back to networking, right? So, like, if you ask for someone's help with something and they help you, they're going to feel part of your journey or your success. And that's just one more person that could maybe promote you or advocate for you when you need them.
Yes, for sure.
So asking questions is not a bad thing. It can be very mutually beneficial.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, well, before we wrap up, just one final question on the job search. And you sound like you're at a place where you're really happy now and you're doing well. In the interview process, was there any questions that you would ask just to kind of get the pulse on, like, hey, are these going to be good people that I want to be working with? Is this a good culture? How would you kind of figure that out in the interview process?
So during interviews, I like to ask questions that go beyond the job description, things that kind of will help me understand what it's like to work there day to day. So my go-to questions are, what does a typical day in this role look like? Or what is your favorite thing about working here? And I feel like that is just a telltale sign of like if you're gonna fit into this place or if you're not.
I like that.
Hmm.
And get those questions up here in advance before you walk into that interview so you're ready, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. You got to go into it knowing your questions because it's hard to like think on the spot like that.
Yeah. And I think when I always end all of my interviews with, do you have any questions for me? And if they say no, or that I answered all their questions, I mean, it's fine. But I think when you're really thoughtful about it and you ask even something specific, because you did your research, like you mentioned before too, it puts you at a different level, I think, than some of the other people that might be applying.
Definitely. And just even asking like one question shows that, it's mutual interest and that you're not, because I feel like if you say no, you don't have any questions, it's like, oh, okay, like we just did all this and you don't have like a single question. So even if it's just one question, I think it could make the difference.
Yeah, it shows interest for sure.
Hmm.
Well, Kennedy, it has been so much fun catching up with you. If somebody wanted to connect with you, what's the best way for our Pitch Live community to connect with you?
On LinkedIn, my handle is Kennedy Reed Public Relations, I believe. And I actually have, my personal Instagram is KENN_Reed, and then I just made a work Instagram, which is
Hmm.
Kennedy.proforma. So if you wanna go there too,
Oh.
you could do that.
Oh, and find out what the promotional products are.
Oh, yeah. It's a fun industry. Like, the health industry was fun, the beauty industry was fun, but this industry is also very fun, which I feel like you didn't expect. I didn't expect.
I mean, who doesn't want some good swag, right?
Oh, yeah. I have so much swag.
All right, well, that's great, and Kennedy has, like, the perfect LinkedIn profile, and I did notice that you put Kennedy Reed Public Relations, like, you changed your URL name, which I always recommend
Yes.
people to change because LinkedIn puts all these funky numbers after your name, and, like, you should change that and make it, like, original, but I always send everybody to your LinkedIn page and say, "Do it exactly like this," so everybody should connect with Kennedy. She's always telling me, like, "Why are these people from your company connecting with me?" I'm like, "'Cause I told them to go to your page because you did it perfectly."
No, I love it, and I did it perfectly because you told me how to do it.
Well, Kennedy, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you have inspired so many people in your career journey, and you're going to continue to do so because you're just getting started here. And I want to encourage everyone to share this episode so we can get more people exposed and inspired by all the amazing things Kennedy is doing. Be sure to connect with her on LinkedIn at Kennedy Reed Public Relations and on Instagram at Ken with two N's _Reed. And follow that. I'm gonna have to follow the professional one. I didn't know about that
Yes,
one.
I'll
So
follow you
you're gonna
first so
you
you
have to
have it.
follow me. I'll follow you back. I'll give you a
Okay.
follow. That I know that's important.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us on this episode of Pitch Live with Amy Summers. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and give us a rating or review. Your feedback helps us plan future episodes. I hope you were inspired today to get out there, pitch, and advocate for yourself and take a buddy with you if you're doing late night networking with a lot of alcohol, right, Kennedy?
Yep.
Most importantly, make success happen. As a bonus, you can join us at inisivox.com where you can get mentored, hone your communication skills, and binge as much mentorship as you want whenever you need it. The link's going to be in the show notes along with Kennedy's social media handles and my social media handles. So let's stay connected so we can follow each other in success. Kennedy, until next time, MSH.
MSH, bye. Thank you.